be squeezed.
No, we're gonna fucking Last Supper over here. Here, this is your...
Oh my gosh, you're Jesus!
Take two. Hey guys, try a new format. Let's see if this
Line.
So that actually kind of lies in theme in the movie we just watched.
hey guys. Hey guys. Yo. It's what the fuck's up?
Oh my
We don't give a
gosh.
shit anymore about structure or anything. What up, guys? What's up? We're gonna discuss what movie we're gonna discuss.
10-inch Hero.
Why did you pick that movie?
Don't look at me so accusatorily.
I stared her judgmentally.
Accusatorily looking at you.
Okay,
I am just
I picked this movie. Yeah, okay, there you go.
Difference.
Judging. Anyways, I picked this movie because it's actually one of my favorite movies, believe it or not. Because when I found this movie and I watched it for the first time, being from a conservative background and not necessarily looking at the world in a lot of the love. That sounds weird. Not looking at the world in a certain view other than conservativeness.
For what you knew at the time.
Yeah.
For what you knew at the time.
Enlightened way. There, that's a good way to put it, yes.
You.
It definitely made me kind of look at things a little bit differently, and especially at myself with one thing in particular in this movie. It made me look at myself in a more less harsh light, let's say. And love is like the biggest thing in this movie. It's the biggest theme, and I got behind that 100%. So I enjoyed this movie. I know a lot of people here did not.
I feel like a dick now that we tore it to shreds while watching it, and after you said that.
No.
Speaking of dick,
My president is not
10-inch
racist.
Hero.
Can that's an inside joke because he is. Can you honestly tell me?
Yeah,
Because of a new format we have, we're just gonna be talking back and forth.
that's fine.
If you take away the scene where I don't remember anyone's name in any movie, and I apologize. The cute girl. If you take her away, Jen, thank you. If you take away Jen from the movie, and you take away her scene of her saying, "I am worth something, but you don't understand my struggle because you're always a pretty one." If you take that out of the movie,
Yeah,
can you say that you enjoyed this movie?
yeah. I can still say that.
That a scene like that, that's in this movie, might have had an emotional impact and slightly obscured your judgment to think this was a good movie. Because that scene itself was one of the only scenes that actually had legitimacy and some sort of non-Hollywood fluff.
There was a lot of fluff, for sure. But honestly,
Like that was the only the only message that I got from the movie that could be explored that isn't mundane. This guy is a dick, or this person should value herself more. Like that scene itself, I think is good.
but they all had different struggles that they were dealing with.
Yes. But come on, Jess.
Yeah,
Did you really enjoy the movie?
I
Did you check
did.
that movie out?
I really did.
Are you sure?
Yes.
This is because you like Adam Sandler.
A guy like that doesn't dream about a girl like me.
You said that looks don't matter.
Yeah, that was before I knew he was Brad fucking Pitt. I mean, girls that look like you don't understand. You know, I always think, like, if I lost 10 pounds or wore different clothes or got new boobs, that it would make a difference, but I know the truth.
You have so much to offer. I mean, to say you don't because of how you look is just total bullshit.
I didn't say I don't have a lot to offer. I said that people will never know because they don't see me. Or how many times has a customer completely ignored you to get a better look at me? So until that happens, until you're told time and time again that your place in life is in the background, don't tell me it's bullshit.
Why do you think it's called 10-inch Hero?
Because the focus of the movie was on a dick.
Or a sandwich shop. Where
It's a
they serve
sandwich
heroes,
shop.
but they jip you that 12 inches for a 10.
Did you mean? Well,
There was 6-inch subs, there was 10-inch subs, there was 12-inch subs, I'm pretty
Yes,
sure.
yes, you over there. Yes, yes, sir.
I don't
Yes,
believe
the
there were
movie-
actually
the
12
movie
inches. I just
was-
think they gave you 2 6s and tried to fake it out.
The ideal that size doesn't matter was being that it's always in the back of the male's mind that it actually does matter. But to make someone feel comfortable, we say this size does not matter. This movie was challenging that and a clever pun to show you that the self-worth that you give something like your peni, this is the huge stretches that I keep there. So the
penile appendage.
The penile appendage, thank you, sir. It's not the superstitious value of the length of it or what it is. So just like love is not a superstitious value that you put on. Thus, the movie's called 10-inch Hero because they are clever as fuck.
I don't think you actually think that though, because you've been bad-mouthing this movie the entire movie.
Did you at least tell him that size doesn't matter?
Yeah, sure, I told him. You don't actually think guys believe that, do you?
The plot of the movie, dear God.
Here's my point, Jess. Here, like, okay.
He's never gonna let it go.
No. Here's my point.
In theme of
That-
the movie,
that-
I'm mansplaining.
I am mansplaining. Thank you for mansplaining my mansplanation.
I know.
It was an assist. Be aware.
Man assist.
Mansis, there you go.
Yeah.
Man
Wow, we just wrote a new level
Oh my
of
God.
fucking misogyny. Mansis, the mansplaining.
inside of mansplaining.
Mansplaining the
Mansis.
mansplaining.
Lovely. So,
That's manception.
okay.
And you know where it starts? With the well, actually.
Before we legitimately go into this review, I have
Dear
a
God.
point.
Okay.
None of this will make the video.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I would like to build off of your point, even though I have no idea what your point is at the moment.
Yes,
But I feel
okay.
like I need
I
to
don't believe that this won't make it into the video. I'm saying that
Sorry.
right now.
This is what I have to
what
say.
notes do we
With
put
the
this?
generalized cookie cutter material, that is things like Hallmark movies.
Seagull.
It is a cookie cutter way of marketing, making money out of art. And not just art, but art that wants to teach you a lesson. And I think that there is something wrong with that. A unnatural way of learning life's meaning. If this movie is what taught you how to value yourself, then
I
you
didn't
had...
say that. I said it helped me look at things a little bit different.
It was a
Stop
gateway.
woman-splaining to me.
Oh, but I can't.
Well, actually,
I have a J. I get a woman explain all day
What
long.
I think she's trying to say is that it opened the gateway to a more enlightened viewpoint.
I get your joke.
I think that's what she's trying to say to you.
I also think
just
from
felt like I
your
needed to
thinking
explain
that
it.
is what she was saying.
Can I just interject?
Thanks
and
for
say,
mansplaining my woman's splaining.
Actually, I think she wants to try to say something.
Oh, okay. I would also like to hear your...
interject?
You may speak.
I feel the main takeaway of this movie is
I
that
like you getting
AOL will find you your real lasting relationship, guys. Check it out.
Really good-looking women, they're high maintenance. And without exception, completely worthless between the sheets.
Seriously?
God's truth.
Certainly been my experience.
With a body like hers, that all she's got to do is just lay back and enjoy the ride. You see? That way she's never going to develop any skills in bed.
I second that.
You and me in the office. I'll show you how I earn my crown.
Women!
They are so easy to out-finesse.
it opened my mind up to be a little bit more enlightened, and it also helped me to understand maybe I need to be a little nicer to myself, which is a fun lesson. And yeah, I kind of enjoy it. I don't kind of enjoy it. I really enjoy this movie because
We all have insecurities.
yeah, sure. And
Did
you
you
know.
like my mansplaining?
I hated your mansplaining. I
Would you
appreciate your
assist my
opinion.
mansplaining
I think
further mansplain?
Okay, I think what he was trying to say to what you were trying to say.
Oh fuck. So basic plot is these 20-somethings. I would say they're 20-somethings. Group of them who work in this sandwich shop together. Go through different trials and tribulations or whatever, and find love and happiness in their lives with various hijinks and shit.
TM.
TM.
Would you say they are all individuals from different walks of life?
Sure.
Well,
I would say so.
They really try to interpret that. We have a hippie, we have a rocker, we have a person who is free about her sexuality.
A
They have a
techie, a flirty.
They have the artistic person.
And
Because we know artists.
and the
are most diverse
Wiccan
of them all.
who is in the shop
We have a Wiccan.
You mean the
across the
alien?
street.
We have the old couple.
They kept calling her the alien.
She's
Which-
an alien.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go by and say with this drawing that you did earlier, you're gonna make everybody think we're getting ready to watch like an alien porno or something
exactly
like
what it
that.
was.
It is an alien porn. What are you talking about?
We were exactly-
It's
that's-
not
alien porno.
It's
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
there
alert.
is some full nude sex.
full nude sex.
Full nude sex. Full nude alien.
Here's my thing on why I'm like, ah, God, this is where you're married. Okay, so here's my peeve as well as
Oh dear God.
why I don't like a sex scene in a movie. Because
Because
when
it's
you're
completely unnecessary.
one, it's completely unnecessary. Two, those are real people. Afterwards, they need to go home to their real families and real loved ones. And I feel really uncomfortable if I saw my man riding another man or woman in a movie and it's forever published and he got paid to do that. I understand that nothing happened. I just would feel uncomfortable about it. And I know that there's some actors who are like, no, I'm not gonna kiss someone on screen or do any sexual acts because like that's just like my boundary. And nowadays it's fine, but it's just the person who writes that I think should have the understanding that there are real people doing this job. And I understand that there's casting and writers and then the directors and like it's all a jumble mess. Film is an art that takes an entire village to make. I understand that, but there comes to a point where I don't know, and maybe the person and I don't speak for everybody obviously, but the person, it's weird. Is it not? It's
To
weird.
me,
right?
I get I mean, aside from it being really unnecessary, it's just sometimes it can just be freaking uncomfortable.
Well, yeah.
It's just like
I view not necessarily just sex, but like the art of the art. Fucking me. Like that you're giving yourself to someone else, right? You're giving them your literal everything. There is nothing that you're hiding from that person that you're giving to them. That is a very amazingly intimate thing that you're sharing with someone that you hopefully care about. And I think that having sex scene after sex scene and fucking like all of Game of Thrones and all this other shit where you have people that literally get paid to light boobs and that is a thing that you can get hired for.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just, that's weird to me.
Well, I heard in, this probably isn't true for everything. Definitely wasn't true for this movie, but I just know in some productions they will make prosthetic pieces that the actors can wear over a naked suit. I know that wasn't done for this movie.
Yeah,
that is actually a professional.
That girl, well, that was
some full titty.
That was some.
No,
I just saw.
She was fully nude, and I'm pretty sure
it's an Ackles' wife's titties. So.
Oh yeah, they were fully out.
Which is also another level of weirdness. And again, it might not bother them at all because it's the business,
Yeah, it's
which
the
I
business.
hate that line.
Mm-hmm. It's the business.
It's the business.
Oh man, it's the business. Calm down.
It's me.
how it is.
I dated someone who her words were like, well, if I had to make out with someone in a scene, it's the business. Like, no. You can choose to say no. You know, maybe that's why he did. Like, oh, girl, I'm gonna marry you. Maybe that's why he did. I don't know. It's just it's a
I don't
little
think
weird.
She did any more acting really after this.
I think
Was he
it's all
Supernatural?
based on
She did a
perspective.
few.
Wait, what?
Danielle Harris is who we're talking about.
Mhm.
Her and Jensen Ackles met on this movie and fell in love and got married after.
It was like 3 years later.
I'm gonna commit that to memory because I feel bad just saying Jensen Ackles' wife. She's an actual person.
Danielle Harris.
Danelle Harris.
Yes.
Danelle Harris.
She, I think, was in maybe some like
One Tree Hill.
yeah,
Yeah.
One Tree Hill and things like that. But she wasn't really in Supernatural until this past season.
Everybody relax.
I'm here.
From what I gather is that this is definitely a movie about love. This is definitely a movie about people learning to accept what is in front of them and or accept love and also accept themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because no one, the love of their lives in you know, 2-hour movie, so like, you know, we gotta sum stuff up. But the love of their lives for most of them was right in front of their noses. They just never had the confidence within themselves to actually take that step. And I think this movie is ultimately just trying to say that. It's trying to say like, hey, you are worth of love. You are worthy of this magical thing that is out there. Just, it is a risk. Go out and take the risk.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful message.
Yeah.
So how? Okay, well, with that, can I also put in the I guess the talking point of then how would you interpret? I can speak English.
Yeah,
clearly.
Of course.
It's a thing.
How would you interpret Jensen Ackles' character completely changing himself to get noticed by the girl?
So, 2 ways. One, he was joking, and that's not how he's gonna be, because he's a douchebag.
Fair.
Who will continue to be a douchebag. 2, that is a wrong message to give out to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he was putting himself out. Sorry to bounce off a thing. That is a wrong message to put out that you need to change who you are to get the person that you ultimately want to be with.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I really think that that character was doing it as a way to see, hey, see, I am willing to go through some maturity to be with you.
Yeah.
That's what I think they were trying to write. What I got was, this guy's been manipulated by this person a lot throughout the movie. And when he finally accepted that this is a person that he likes, after explicitly hearing all her sexual exploits and seeing how many people she's fucked, he has accepted his position as 15th place.
Damn. Okay, I don't agree with that because from what I got was earlier in the movie she said Trucker, who is the sandwich shop owner, said, why don't you go out with better guys, like guys who aren't assholes to you, or did he say dipshits? I don't know. He said something and it was like, yeah, why don't you? And she was like, because those guys never asked me out. And it pans over to Priestley, who's Jensen Ackles' character, and he kind of like goes, huh. And he takes a second to kind of think about that.
It was just, again, with the, just that was a horrible message to, give to impressionable,
Right.
15, 16 teens that would have probably more than not gotten their hands on this movie. And then, bringing in these antagonistic douchebags whom again?
Tad and Brad.
The douche.
Fuck that. Fuck him and fuck him.
Oh my god.
Now look what you did.
What I did?
Bye, Tish. I'll be here waiting.
They did. They fucked each other.
Yeah, but
possibly.
No,
No, they
like
did.
it was it was dated with the whole thing of Tish calling him out on the whole the closeted homosexuality. I sat there and I was like, and then the whole thing with her getting injured and him being like, oh well, it wouldn't have happened if you. And then her kind of going along with that, with the whole next day putting the Band-Aid on and not saying it. I was just sitting there and I'm just like, who knows? Maybe I'd be maybe a bit biased on it, considering I went for the fucking degree for this. But she's certified, bitch.
It is a thing where
it's just
you feel
I felt like that was
guilty. You feel
yeah,
you feel dirty about it.
And that is a legit thing.
Yeah,
but
well, I feel like her response to all of that was honestly kind of realistic.
It was
with how people would go about
which
like
is why
covering it up
it
and
was
stuff.
very upsetting because
Well,
it
yeah,
is
it's
realistic.
supposed to be upsetting.
Yeah, well, like no shit. But I think we should really quickly go over like camera, props, music, like a little
You
fluff,
wanna do
like,
quick-
because I really want to hit home on the one keyword that I got from this movie, which is emotional manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
So camera work.
Well, that's
was,
not one keyword.
Key phrase.
Did you just explain to me? So,
Yes, I did.
Yeah, no, the camera work.
It was cookie cutter. It was cookie cutter textbook thing.
Yeah,
It was filmed in 3 weeks. It was filmed in very specific locations. It made big things look, empty things look filled. It was a cookie cutter movie. It was a cookie cutter production.
Yeah.
Because they have 12 producers who've all worked for Hallmark, so like they knew their formula. There's nothing wrong with that except a lot of things, because when art becomes formula, it's a different topic. But that's
nothing wrong
And I mean, and it was funny because when we were watching the movie and we were looking at the sets, Vic, I think it was Vic that pointed it out. Like, there's that same house that you see in every single Hallmark film. I'm like,
it is.
And then later to look up and realize that, oh yeah, the director and everybody has worked on Hallmark movies in
And the
past.
shot, the bicycle shot, the town.
Yeah.
You want to know what movie I recognized it from?
Oh, the intro shot where the same dude was sitting down, I think, reading a newspaper.
Yeah.
And literally the next fucking cut is him walking
Their
in a different
mistake
direction.
was making him an extra that was too noticeable with how
Yeah.
he was dressed. He was very specifically dressed, so I was automatically drawn to him. So when he started walking through the next shot, I was like, that's the same guy.
Like if
From a
this
different angle,
if
in a
this
different
was a
shot.
student film or a small company trying to produce this movie, I thought there would have been an enduring thing. But because it's cookie cutter Hallmark stuff, it loses a lot of its credibility. I don't know. A lot of it, like, this is a big giant company that could have done a lot more, and they stuck to a simple, safe formula. Which, hey, that's what Marvel's doing. So like whatever. But Marvel has Thor, so
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
If it's getting you money, don't fix it.
I think they won an award for
The soundtrack, surprisingly, and that's the one thing I didn't notice at all about the entire movie.
That's how it works.
Sometimes that's
The
sometimes
soundtrack
means it works.
and that's just because, in my opinion, the only reason it won an award. Who knows? Again, maybe I'm being biased. It's because you had a noticeable name, which was John Davis, who recently had worked on the Matrix movies and got awards for that.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean,
I could be wrong, but then again, I didn't notice anything. The soundtrack was not. It wasn't really
If
that.
you don't notice
noticeable.
it, that means it worked.
The movie was not a bad movie from a film perspective. From a message perspective, we can see what they were trying to do, and it does have a good censure. It says, "Love who you are, and you will find love." That is a beautiful, beautiful thing to say. How it was said, I feel, was manipulative.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, from each and every single story with each of the people that we were focusing on, there was that underlying manipulation.
Oh, knock, knock. Here comes the penis to tell you that I'm right.
So there's a lot of moments, and this is a funny thing. Me and Vic were honed in on this movie being written by a man because every that's, I can't use the universal every, but it did feel like most occasionally, whenever a female character would had, let's say, learned something, it immediately by the next male character would say, actually, the real lesson is this. And that felt very manipulative. Like when I'm sorry with names, the girl who did not believe in herself.
The girl from the faculty?
Yeah. How
Jen?
Jen, thank you. In the movie, Jen did not believe in herself, and when she found out that the person she was trying to date was actually really attractive, she felt that she would not be accepted by him because he's really attractive, therefore he wouldn't like me. I'm so ugly. So she stood him up,
beautiful.
and because she all this attention on her and all the it was too much for her to handle. She didn't believe she had the confidence to do it. So she was being supported by her friends and being told like, yes, you are beautiful, yes, you are worth this. And then when it was told to the to explain to the male character, he was like, actually, you're wrong because you stood him up. The same thing that you are afraid of, you did to this dude. So actually, you're the douchebag.
Jen, please tell me you didn't leave Fuzzy just sitting down there wondering. Damn it, Jen.
I don't expect you to understand.
I understand you wouldn't talk to him because you were terrified he was going to judge you on the basis of your looks. Yet you're completely comfortable doing the exact same thing to him.
Like, you're not wrong, but you're also not right.
Yeah.
Like it's
like how you're framing it.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
Wrong.
Yeah.
It's just that's. And
That's
because
not really what he said,
the
but
message
yeah.
is understood.
It's also, he got upset with her for sure, and it was because he was like, you're better than this. You should know your worth, and you should know how amazing you are, and don't fucking
also
base your
worth on someone else's opinion.
No.
Also, let Tish basically tell him right in front of
Oh,
Jen.
yeah, that was kind of.
I was like, that's so
that's just a douchey friend to do. That's
like, honestly,
douchebag friend.
Like try to take him away.
Yeah,
I thought, for some
I
reason
didn't like
in my
that
memory,
at
I
all.
thought I remembered him going outside.
But do you think that
that
Trish is the character's name?
Tish. Yeah.
Tish. Do you think that Tish would have had the understanding of why that was wrong? It would have done it otherwise.
Yeah.
Like do you think that?
I honestly feel like she would have, but she probably was just.
Oh, was this written that way?
So real quick, because we kind of jumped in the middle, I want to just backtrack.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You did the original plot, like kind of short summary.
Yeah, short summary.
And I just wanted to highlight again so you kind of understand what this is.
Why I'm being a dick.
Well, just the primary conflict for the main characters. So it starts with the character Piper moving into this small town in Southern California somewhere, and we don't really know why, ensuing Hallmark shots and whatever. And then we find out as she goes to get a job at this sandwich shop, which ironically is not named 10-Inch Hero, and that would have been the obvious thing. It's named something else.
Beach City Grill.
So that's why the interpretive art by Stone here was even better than you would imagine, because it was very right on is what they were saying.
Should have had an alien for a mascot.
Just saying. But
they did. She walked in occasionally and was right all the time.
Yeah. So she
also gave them some grass and they never smoked it.
There you go.
It wasn't for smoking.
She gave them herbs.
It was for
that
air
was code.
Back to the story.
Yeah. So Piper comes and she gets this job with these people, and they're having all these quirky conversations, and it's total friends. Rip off almost there, that like dynamic on the couch with the big coffee cups, but they have stuff.
So you mean a group of people that are collectively sitting together and just vibing 100%?
Yeah.
Like
intercoupling. Yeah,
back to the plot.
So Piper comes in, meets these people, blah blah blah. She reveals that she's in town because she had to give up a baby at 15. She was a pregnant teenager who had to give up her baby for adoption, and she was trying to find her baby, and she felt like through some, I think the word we used was hunch, right? Some grand hunch that
she had a feeling
betting on this kid that she found in this area being the one that she had lost.
Right, and she had talked to the the adoptive mother, and for a couple of years, back and forth, they communicated and talked to each other, and so she knew the child's name, she knew the the adoptive parents' first names, both the husband and the wife, and
so she had a hunch anyway that this was the right kid. She picks up her life, moves to this town to see if she's right, to try to connect with this child, which, you know, it was her main conflict. She develops a relationship with the family through some accidental fancy running into and things like
on
that.
the beach.
And then she becomes kind of a trusted member of the family, doing babysitting, whatever, and finds out that this is not her adopted child. So then she doesn't know what to do about these feelings she's developed for father, kid, whatever. Blah. That's her. Next, you move over to Jen, who we've talked about a lot. She's the typical, like, kind of down on herself, not totally confident,
best character in the movie.
Young 20s person who's really put herself out there online. She's found an outlet that she feels like is safe for her to pursue, and she's found a really nice relationship with some person. She's not really sure anything about this person. And one of the best parts of the movie, in my opinion, and there's a couple really good gems, you know, when they're doing like the touchy-feely, the more you know moments and stuff like that. But she actually, they're kind of playing devil's advocate with Jen, the friend group, and asking her, well, what if this person's really old? What if this person is disabled? And they say that specifically. What if this person is not the gender you were expecting? What if this person has these other weird things from their past? And every time she says something like, well, we'll figure it out. Well, if they can handle it, I can handle it. It was this really not typical thing you see in movies from that era, which I thought was a really cool thing. That was cool because she just went through it like it was a matter of fact. Like, of course I would accept people for who they are, this relationship.
She found love for love's sake.
It was a nice thing. So then she's got that conflict. She goes to meet this guy. She runs away because she's scared and he's attractive.
He's attractive, and that's what she was not expecting.
And then she learns
expecting someone that
she was essentially expecting to get catfish.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, there you go. And she
was going for worst case scenario.
So, and she learns that she needs to be more fair to both sides of the equation, herself and the other person in the relationship. So that was cool. And then you have the other one who's they call her the man-eater, the flirty, whatever. This was the word that I saw in the description. I was like, that's what they call her, for sure. Talk about an antiquated term there. But anyway.
She absolutely manipulates men for her own gain, for sex and things.
And she makes no bones about the fact that she's interested in bones.
That really made me happy that you used bones as a pun. That made me so happy.
Hey, Bones.
She does make
What's up, Bones?
Yeah. It's a thing. She definitely is into being sexually free and getting kind of what she feels like she wants without offering anybody any type of emotional attachment. So it seems shallow, and it's, you know, degrading for both sides, technically, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But it's
Could you
her
also
MO.
see it as empowering to say that women can also be sexually active? There's nothing
sexually
to be
free and
ashamed of.
Yeah, so that is a thing for sure, but I think it's also not fair to start a relationship out on a false premise, which you see her doing consistently.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a relationship she's looking for.
And then
just
she finds
sex.
her supposed unicorn, right? The one who doesn't fall for her lines and who isn't tricked by her and who's really great physically. And so that's like the thing she was looking for, and she's in love. And then this person turns out to be douchebag /
horrible.
Do you think in a way they were also trying to do that as just the writers were doing that as just kind of a way to just kind of like, I don't know the word, screw over her character kind of like with how she was.
Yeah, she's basically getting her just desserts, if you will. Again, fun, right? Because she was
that'll teach a woman to have free sexual
that's
agency.
the right thing. Like a lot of those
which
little
again was
things
something I was like, I don't like this.
Well, and that's why me and Vic were like, this was obviously written by a man. This is a male fantasy. You think you can screw me over by using me manipulatively? I will have a man manipulate you.
Yeah,
that's kind of where we were going at, and we were shocked
and
that
she
it
gets
wasn't.
threatened, and it's not a pretty situation. She
Yeah.
realizes that she's been approaching this whole thing wrong.
Fuck
Be
that
that
guy.
because she feels bad about herself and has no value, or she doesn't give anybody else the respect to try to legitimately connect with them on a, peer level, respect level, something like that. So there's that whole conflict, and they have the coming of whatever, and that brings along the other kind of, well, he feels like a minor character to some extent.
Who, Priestley?
Yeah, which is our Jensen Ackles, and we love my shirt.
God,
But they bring him along through her growth, and he grows and does the thing that we don't think is the best, which is the change.
And I will admit there were, and I think it was only the times Jensen Ackles was on screen, there were actually moments that actually made me laugh with his
Yeah, a lot of the moments that he was there that were kind of like B
Would you
or
say
filler.
he's comic relief?
Oh yeah, he's comic relief for sure.
Yeah,
He
He's there for
was
the
the
ha-has.
better part of the movie, in my opinion. And there were moments where I'm like, that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
That shit,
Yeah.
that was fucking funny.
Yeah.
And it was all based on his acting.
Right.
It was good. He did a
Right.
fantastic job.
Who would have known he'd be such a good actor?
Wow. Oh yeah. This is so
I wonder
weird.
what he's up to nowadays.
But at the end of the day, they all, even Trucker.
Yeah.
He finds love too.
and there was the final one, right? With the shop owner who was like perpetual dad, free love hippie style for all these young 20-somethings, and seemed legitimately caring and invested in them as individuals, which was also kind of a refreshing thing, because you always see like the "hey, you get off of my lawn" kind of attitude versus "hey kids, come hang out." So,
and then you figure out about his
Wow, I said get off
backstory
of
with
my
being
lawn.
in Vietnam and
Being
stuff
in the
like that.
Nam.
He's from Nam. But yeah, he
But
found
yeah.
the love of his life, who was literally in front of him the whole time across the street.
Well, he had a long crush on her.
Yeah. He just
when
needed to take that step.
Yeah, well, when he first saw her from across the street or something, he really did have legitimate feelings for her. He never acted on them though, because I think when we find out about his backstory and that he was a jerk and a high school football jock guy who wasn't always nice to people, and he was drafted in the war, and he killed a lot of people, and went for 3 tours and all of these things, and when he got out he had this like epiphany that he never wanted to hurt another human being in his life ever again. And he met these surfer dudes one day, and they made him smile and they made him happy, and he kind of adopted their lifestyle, and that's how he felt. In some ways he wasn't good enough to actually talk to Zoe, is what her name is in the movie. the Wiccan hippie lady.
The alien.
Yeah.
Those are aliens supposedly, or some kind of fantastic.
When it becomes a thing that, oh my gosh, she's actually in the yearbook too, that he was showing all of the kids about, his high school days, he goes and talks to her about it and says, why didn't you ever say anything? And she said, well, I felt like you needed to be ready, or you needed to know that, it was okay, and it didn't matter that I knew you back then.
I had a crush on you.
It's been 84 years I've waited for this day.
It didn't matter that I knew you back
still
then.
see
I know you now, and that's all that matters. And it was just this really beautiful moment of them kind of like saying, wow.
Being naked in front of a fucking 9-year-old. That was
They
beautiful.
got married on the beach on horseback,
Didn't age well.
nude, and their entire Yes,
group.
I kept saying that.
My character arc is complete because I've waited.
And you know, it was
I have an issue with
it
that.
was one thing with it. Yeah, I mean, I had an issue with it too. I mean, it was one thing to have them have that little ceremony on the beach. I almost said bitch.
Ceremony on the bitch.
On the beach. But to go and paint it in the
Also, the little girl was the one that was painting it. That was weird. For the mansplaining card, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's,
absolutely.
Just flash it up.
Can
Here it
I have the place as I'm mansplaining or mansplaining?
As mansplaining. Okay, well,
I need to hold the mansplaining.
So
card.
what I'm understanding is you want to hold this mansplain card.
Yeah, I think that my understanding of your understanding of me holding the
Alright,
card
so-
is a proper,
Okay,
adequate thing to mansplain.
Of course.
And that, good people, is politics.
And what she was trying to say is that
Oh, dear
this is a
Lord.
way for us to politically converse about
Yeah,
our
so-
movie or mansplaination of the mansplaination.
Yeah, and you know, mansplaination is in itself just
Here's a mansplaining card.
perfect-
Yeah.
Mansplaination in itself is essentially just a way for us to communicate between one another in in a way that's easier for other people that
Oh
are.
yes, because we need a can I so we need to because sometimes other people just they're expressing thoughts are not clear.
Of course.
So it is our job to hold up our mansplaining card
Understood.
and properly explain what they have failed to explain.
Yeah, and well, actually.
Throw this on the ground.
So can we talk about the topic that I've been wanting to talk about?
Dear God, I don't know.
Well, I think we gave you
Do you
a
need the
fair...
mansplaining card?
Yeah.
No, it's not a mansplaining card. I think you give you a fair thing. I really
So they had the dynamic stories, and they tried to put all that in there.
Yeah.
Be that as it may, it was kind of congested that there were so many things happening. But they were good things. They were trying to be, in essence, good. But maybe it was all mansplained. I don't know. That's a legit thing to say, maybe.
This may sound actually kind of rude, and I apologize right ahead, Jess.
Let's just truck through it. Let's go.
Valentine's Day was easier for me to follow than this movie.
And it had a lot of
wait. I want to defend Jess on this point. I think the reason why we didn't follow this movie is because there was at least two of us being fucking assholes the entire movie as I mansplain right.
Sorry, of course.
That's why.
This
like
this
for
is
real.
video evidence of me snapping. Okay.
I think Vic and I
This
were
is the
being
last
dicks.
video you'll ever see of us alive.
Yeah, probably because I was sitting next to y'all while you were watching it too. so-
Yeah, and we were just being loud and assholes about the whole movie because we did not like it from start one. We didn't give it a chance, to be quite honest, but
When we lost the audio, we could always sit and watch it again.
I validate my argument that I was right about me pre-hating the movie before I even watched it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not being racist.
So you judged a book by its cover, and you were right.
My tweets were not racist.
Yes,
I never
they
saw.
were.
I can't say that they were because I never saw them.
They
I mean,
were
I know they're
racist.
being read out to me right now, but I can't see them, so I don't hear
It's
them.
a tree in the woods theory. If you're not there,
I never saw them.
it wasn't racist.
I gotta go find. I'm sorry.
Okay, so-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look, I gotta catch the elevator. I'm sorry.
Discrepancy, I guess, with this movie. If I can have a word in.
No. You're welcome.
Thank you, Vic.
Stress
I have the mansplain card.
Oh God.
No, but for realsies, I think this movie has, and we were talking about this earlier, Lee, how this movie does, it has a good message, it has a good point. You should love yourself and you are worth love. But how it expressed it, I think, is a bit of Hollywood manipulation. Not credited to the movie itself. This is a critique on Hollywood and media nowadays. So, this is a completely objective thing, but people have objective subjective thoughts. Sorry. Well, like as soon as you see someone like, damn, that person is I find that person attractive. Jen, what's her name? I'm sorry.
Jen.
Okay, Jen. Thank you. Her thing was that she expressed herself as the character, not the actress. Expressed herself as, hey, I'm not pretty. I don't deserve this beautiful man. Like, I know he will not accept me. And for the very attractive girl in the movie, the quote-unquote slut of the movie, as it was being explained.
That's a man-eater.
The man-eater of the movie.
I said in the description.
Thank you for mansplaining that to me. She was like, no, you are worth something. You are pretty. And for her to say, for Jen to be like, you don't get to say that to me when every day I see people walk all over me to get your attention. First, I thought that's awesome. But here's where I think the manipulation comes from. Jen is a beautiful woman. She's fucking cute as shit. Like, if I had a pick of my three, like that bullshit mentality.
Okay, they're Charrington.
Like she.
Don't sully his name like this.
It's true. She's a Jen. Like she is pretty. I thought she was the prettiest one amongst that group of people, and that's where the manipulation comes in. When you get the feel-good BuzzFeed videos that says, I don't feel good about myself, here's body dysmorphia exists and that's a real thing, and people usually only look at the flaws they have inside them. That's a real thing. But when you get a line of really attractive people that says, I don't look pretty, and then you have a circus behind them saying, you are pretty, look at how beautiful your blah 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 is, you are a beautiful human, you should respect yourself. And then the pretty person says, wow, you know what, I am pretty. That's manipulative. They didn't get someone who, I don't know, has something that they can't, like
vitiligo with the skin.
Yeah, or someone who, like someone who legitimately has like a disability, who legitimately is going through something that a lot of the world would
like, what is that?
Can't like. Yeah, exactly.
I get what you're saying.
That is. And even when they do that, like fucking Ready Player One, where the girl was like,
That's right. I remember that movie.
Thank you. You want the man card? You want the manipulation card?
Actually,
no.
As you were saying about the girl believing that she is not attractive because she is horribly disfigured, I think is the term that was being used.
Yeah. And she was fucking gorgeous and just had a little red spot on her face.
It was a tiny little birthmark.
Like a little strawberry.
Very
mark.
faded.
And like, she's beautiful. Or fucking.
It's
like,
a horrible message to give you.
Yeah. What was it? Miley Cyrus was in a movie where she like, oh, I'm so old, and like, look at like, I forget, like one of those most
bad moms.
Bad mom. There we go.
Yeah.
Where she was like, I'm so.
Look at me.
You said Miley Kunis.
Yeah, whatever. Mila Kunis. Thank you. I butcher names on purpose, and then when I legitimately try to say the name correctly, I still butcher.
Don't
I'm
give
sorry.
anyone your secrets.
Hey, it's endearing, and we all appreciate it, and I'm not
hold the fuck when she's like, I'm so ugly, look at me, look at my granny panties or bullshit like that.
Shut the fuck up.
You are there's not a fucking sea of men trying to get in bed with you. Like, fuck off. That's what I mean with.
She could be wearing a paper bag covered in dog shit and people still be going for her. Like,
yeah,
honestly.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
But am I wrong?
I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree.
And again, that's not a critique against your.
I know.
It's a critique against Hollywood itself.
It's a contrived thing they do. They take this bulk thing and say, oh, and it's a little bit egotistical maybe, but thank you. They say, here's these bulk things that are going to happen and make you have emotion A.
I was going to say, was there the woe in there? Thank you. All right, cool.
And emotion C, I'm contriving in you emotion A, B, and C because, hey, that's Hollywood.
And
it's Hollywood, baby.
I mean, in a way.
Jess, I don't know
It's
why
the
you feel
business.
bad about this. This isn't bad about your movie that sucks. This is about Hollywood.
dunking on everything.
We're not dunking
on everything.
No, it's not. We're not dunking. The movie has a good message.
On that subject itself. We could probably sit here for another 5 hours.
Let's please
discussing
not.
that,
It's all
but-
teen
So,
angsty
yeah.
movies where they tell you how you're supposed
This
to feel.
is absolutely a thing that Hollywood does. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying that it's not something. Oh, fuck that sign.
It's got a wall on it.
It does have a wall on it. You're covered.
You better say wow.
So, guys, thank you so much for watching our bullshit movie review.
I fucking like this movie. Whatever they say, I don't care.
All right.
Let's do final thoughts. Yeah.
Final thoughts. Would you watch this movie again?
Yes.
No.
I would.
Nah. I'd probably see it in a gift set on Tumblr, let's be honest.
Even the whole thing with Jensen Ackles being in the store, yeah.
10-inch hero.
It was a
While
pandemic.
I understand.
Yeah, that sounds like a website to me, 10inchhero.com.
It is.
While I understand that, yes, what
We can
you
buy
said
that-
about
we can buy that
Hollywood
domain
doing this and it's very emotionally manipulative, yeah,
Is it
sure.
real?
But this
That's
is
the domain
absolutely
name.
something Hollywood does. And while I absolutely disagree, I absolutely disagree with the movie. She's absolutely beautiful. Clea Duval.
She's fucking gorgeous.
Anyways,
dude.
she's gorgeous and I really love her. And she's been in a bunch of other things. Her speech in particular, you cannot tell me that is not how some people feel. 'Cause
Exactly.
That is absolutely how I feel
think
sometimes.
that goes
so.
to my first initial point.
Damn, about to do it.
I think if that was taken out of the movie,
See?
Yeah.
this movie,
That's what I'm saying. It's
That's
not
fine.
porn.
it loses a lot.
fine.
That
It might
one
lose a lot.
speech.
It might lose a lot, but there was still some other really
Doesn't really
good
phase out
concepts
if
in this
it's
movie
No,
that
it's
I
not
still
free
would have
anyway.
But they were cookie
For
cutter.
pay, which is even better.
They were cookie cutter concept. That was the
Some
only.
of them were. Look,
Let's agree to
okay.
disagree.
There were the archetypes that are all teen movies, but they tried to give them a little bit of twist complexity.
A little.
I.e. M. Night Shyamalan.
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Ding dong.
We guys, sorry, I have the man card.
He was dead the whole time.
No.
Spoiler alert.
I'm taking this now, and I'm going to throw this
supposed to say,
away.
whoa. We were saying before we get off topic
Wow.
another 40 minutes.
Sorry.
No to the movie?
No.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys.
That was
Our
10-inch
review
hero.
is
2 yeses and 3 nos.
Here's
this
the
movie
thing.
has and does
Guilty
not have
pleasure?
both emotional
Not worth
manipulation.
it.
Guilty pleasure that holds
You
a
decide.
sentimental value to somebody that saw it for the first time? Yeah. People that have watched it for the first time as full-fledged adults that have never experienced this before.
And love before?
Creepy voyeurs into
That's
Jensen
just- that's
Ackles'
just me.
life.
What is love?
Maybe.
I've only experienced manipulation.
Don't hurt
That's
me.
all it is.
No mo.
It's a movie literally for creepy voyeurs into Jensen Ackles' life. That's all it is. It's a vehicle to be
So,
creepy.
It's just a movie to watch Jensen Ackles be pretty.
Yes,
And
that's true.
meet his
Sidewalks.
wife, and then the thing.
Everyone in the movie was pretty. Every person in the movie
Even
was pretty.
Alien movie, even Alien Woman.
Yeah, she's fucking awesome. I wanna
Charisma
hang out
and
with her.
ass, right?
Charisma's in the S. Guys,
You heard it here.
guys, eventually we'll learn not to talk over each other.
No.
Eventually we'll
We're learning.
learn
D&C,
to...
man. Find and conquer.
Holy shit.